Iya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, siang, sore, atau malam, Bapak Fitrian dan teman-teman sekalian. Pada kesempatan kali ini, kami dari kelompok 2 akan mempresentasikan tentang tugas kelompok 7 dari kelompok kami. Selanjutnya, ada baiknya saya memperkenalkan anggota kelompok kami. Yang pertama ada Adi Widya Davin Pradipa dengan NIM I04210006. Kemudian ada Agung Tri Rahmadi dengan NIM I04210007. Kemudian saya sendiri Ahmad Yusuf Adi Atmaja dengan NIM I04210008. Lalu ada Ahnaf Kholis dengan NIM I04210009. Dan yang terakhir ada Aini Putri Mahanani NIM I04210010. Selanjutnya saya serahkan ke presenter pertama.
Baik, terima kasih. Sebelumnya perkenalkan, nama saya Adi Widya Davin Pradipa, NIM I04210006. Kali ini saya akan membahas teks pada paragraf 1 yang berjudul Brief History of the Study of Vibration. People became interested in vibration when they create the first musical instrumental, probably whistles or drums. Since then, both musician and philosopher have sought out the rules and laws of sound production, used them in improving musical instruments, and passed them on from generation to generation. As long ago as 4000 BC, music had become highly developed and was much appreciated by Chinese, Hindus, Japanese, and perhaps the Egyptians. These early people observed certain definite rules in connection with the art of music, although their knowledge did not reach the level of a science. Pada paragraf pertama, main clause-nya yang pertama, yaitu people become interested in vibration when they create instruments like whistles and drums. Yang kedua, musician and philosopher look for the rules and laws of sound production to enhance musical instrument and pass down through generation. Terus yang ketiga, since 4000 BC, music was highly developed and appreciated by the Chinese, Hindus, Japanese, and Egyptians. Dan yang main clause yang terakhir yaitu ada people observe certain rules relating to music, even though their knowledge was not talk up to the level of science. Jadi paragraf 1 ini garis besarnya yaitu orang menjadi tertarik pada getaran ketika mereka menciptakan alat musik pertama. Contohnya seperti peluit atau drum. Sejak itu, baik musisi dan filsuf telah mencari aturan dan hukum produksi suara, menggunakannya dalam meningkatkan alat musik dan mewariskannya dari generasi ke generasi. Terus sejak 4000 sebelum Masehi, ini BC ya, yaitu sebelum Masehi, musik telah sangat berkembang dan sangat dihargai oleh orang Cina, Hindu, Jepang, dan mungkin orang Mesir. Orang-orang awal ini mengamati aturan-aturan tertentu yang pasti sehubungan dengan seni musik, meskipun pengetahuan mereka tidak mencapai tingkat sains itu sendiri. Technical terms pada paragraf pertama, yaitu hanya ada satu saja, yaitu vibration. Vibration sendiri ada dua arti. Yang pertama, a periodic change with time of the displacement of elements making up a component or structure. Ini berarti perubahan periodik dengan waktu perpindahan unsur-unsur yang membentuk komponen atau struktur. Yang kedua, makna dari vibration yaitu the study of the oscillatory motion of bodies and system and the frequencies, amplitudes, and force associated with them. Jadi vibration sendiri yaitu studi tentang gerak osilasi benda dan sistem serta frekuensi, amplitudo, dan gaya yang terkait dengannya. Gerak osilasi sendiri yaitu gerakan yang berulang dari suatu benda di mana setelah menempuh selang waktu tertentu benda tersebut akan kembali ke posisi kesetimbangannya. Itu saja yang saya bahas. Selanjutnya paragraf 2 akan dibahas oleh teman saya Agung Tri Rahmadi. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih. Sebelumnya perkenalkan saya Agung Tri Rahmadi, NIM I04210007. Kemudian paragraf kedua, stringed musical instrument probably originate with the hunter's bow, a weapon favorite by the armies of ancient Egypt. One of the most primitive stringed instrument, the nanga, resembled a harp with 3 or 4 strings, each yielding only one note. An example dating back to 1000 bisa dikat nggak sih? Kok kat ya? Apa? Aku lupa. 1.500 sih.
Santai. 1,500. 1,500.
1.500. Oke. Okay. Aku ulangi dari awal ya.
Dari itu aja, dari an example aja nggak apa? Kalimat.
Oke. An example dating back to 1500 BC can be seen in the British Museum. The museum also exhibits an 11-stringed harp with a gold decorated bull-headed sounding box found in a royal tomb dating from about 2600 BC as early as 3000 BC. Stringed instruments such as harp were depicted on walls of Egyptian tombs. Nah, pada paragraf kedua ini terdapat kata teknis, yaitu instrumen, a tools or implement, especially one for delicate or scientific work, yaitu suatu alat yang digunakan untuk mengerjakan sesuatu, terutama pada bidang ilmiah. Selanjutnya, kemudian ada main clause pada paragraf 2. Yang pertama ada stringed musical instrument probably originate with the hunter bow. Yang kedua ada one of the most primitive stringed instrument is the nanga. Yang ketiga ada an example dating back to 1500 BC can be seen in the British Museum. Yang keempat ada the museum also exhibits an 11-stringed harp with a gold decorate. Nah, inti pada paragraf kedua ini adalah alat musik petik berasal dari busur pemburu dan pada waktu itu sangat disukai oleh tentara Mesir kuno. Salah satunya adalah nanga. Alat-alat musik tersebut dapat dilihat di museum-museum seperti di British Museum. Selanjutnya akan dilanjutkan oleh teman kami. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih atas waktunya. Sebelumnya perkenalkan, nama saya Ahmad Yusuf Adjarmasya, NIM I04210008. Saya akan mempresentasikan tentang paragraf ketiga. Ya, paragraf ketiga. Our present system of music is based on ancient Greek civilization. The Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras 582 until 507 before century is considered to be the first person to investigate musical sounds on a scientific basis. Among other things, Pythagoras conducted experiments on a vibrating string by using a simple apparatus called monochord. In the monochord shown in figure 1.2, the wooden bridge labeled 1 and 3 are fixed. Bridge 2 is made movable, while the tension in the string is held constant by the hanging weight. Pythagoras observed that if two like strings of different lengths are subject to the same tension, the shorter one emits a higher note in addition. If the shorter string is half the length of the longer one, the shorter one will emit a note an octave above the other. Pythagoras left no written account on his work, but it has been described by the others. Although the concept of pitch was developed by the time of Pythagoras, the relation between pitch and the frequency was not understood until the time of Galileo in the 16th century. Selanjutnya, untuk main clause di paragraf ketiga yang kalimat pertama adalah our present system music is based on ancient Greek civilization. Kemudian untuk kalimat kedua adalah the Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras 582 and until 507 before century is considered to be the first person to investigate musical sounds on a scientific basis. Kemudian untuk kalimat ketiga adalah Pythagoras conduct experiment on a vibrating string by using a simple apparatus called a monochord. Untuk yang keempat, kalimat keempat adalah the wooden bridge labeled 1 and 3 are fixed. Untuk kalimat kelima adalah bridge 2 is made movable while the tension in the string is held constant by the hanging weight. Untuk kalimat keenam, main clause-nya adalah Pythagoras observed that if two like strings of different lengths are subject to the same tension, the shorter one emits a higher note. Untuk kalimat ketujuh, main clause-nya adalah Pythagoras left no written account of his work. Untuk kalimat terakhir dari paragraf 3 ini, main clause-nya adalah the relation between the pitch and the frequency was not understood until the time of Galileo in the 16th century. Jadi inti dari paragraf 3 ini adalah sistem musik yang ada pada zaman kita saat ini itu didasarkan pada peradaban Yunani kuno. Dan orang pertama yang meneliti tentang musik berbasis saintifik adalah Pythagoras yang hidup dari tahun 582 sampai 507 sebelum Masehi. Selanjutnya, untuk technical terms yang ditemukan di paragraf 3 ini, yang pertama ada tension. Tension arti pertamanya adalah the condition in bar, belt, cable, spring, string, wire, etc. that is being pulled from either end. Artinya adalah kondisi ketika batang, sabuk, kabel, pegas, gawai ataupun kawat itu ditarik dan ditarik dari kedua ujungnya. Yang kedua adalah tensile force, unit N, the force associated with tension as in one, it is measured by the tension meter. Itu dapat diartikan sebagai daya tarik dengan satuan N seperti yang sudah dijelaskan pada arti pertama. Itu tension itu dapat diukur dengan tension meter. Selanjutnya untuk technical term yang kedua adalah weight, dilambangkan dengan W dan persatuan Newton. Itu berarti the force exerted of the mass of the body of a body when in the gravitational field of another body. Itu gaya yang diberikan pada massa suatu benda ketika berada dalam suatu medan gravitasi. Selanjutnya, kemudian technical term yang ketiga adalah pitch. Pitch ini memiliki beberapa arti, mulai dari yang berkaitan dengan turbin, berkaitan dengan bentuk-bentuk ulir, maupun berkaitan dengan pesawat terbang. Tetapi arti pitch di sini tidak berkaitan dengan ketiga tersebut. Arti pitch di sini adalah how high or low sound is especially musical note, atau seberapa tinggi ataupun rendah suara. Kemudian technical term yang keempat adalah frekuensi yang memiliki satuan Hertz, itu the number of cycles per second in oscillation or repetition rate cyclic process. Itu maksudnya banyaknya pengulangan per detik. Selanjutnya bisa dilanjut ke presenter keempat.
Oke, sebelumnya perkenalkan nama saya Hanav Halis, NIM I041009. Nah, di paragraf 4 ini, kalimat pertama, around 350 BC, Aristotle wrote treatises on music and sound, making observations such as the voice is sweeter than the sound of instruments, and the sound of the flute is sweeter than that of the lyre. In 320 BC, Aristophanes, a pupil of Aristotle and a musician, wrote a 3-volume work entitled Elements of Harmony. These books are perhaps the oldest ones available on the subject of music written by the investigators themselves. In about 300 BC, in a treatise called Introduction to Harmonics, Euclid wrote briefly about music without any reference to the physical nature of sound. No further advances in scientific knowledge of sound were made by the Greeks. Oke, lalu di main clause dari paragraf 4 ini kita mulai dari dari kalimat pertama. Main clause-nya itu Aristoteles wrote treatise. Lalu dari kalimat kedua, Aristophanes, a pupil of Aristotle and a musician, wrote. Lalu dari main clause kalimat yang ketiga, written by the investigators themselves. Lalu main clause dari kalimat yang keempat, no further advance by the Greeks. Oke, jadi maksudnya itu di paragraf yang keempat itu, nah dari kalimat pertama, Aristoteles menulis risalah. Jadi Aristoteles itu menulis banyak-banyak risalah. Salah satunya ada musik dan suara ini. Lalu Aristophanes, murid atau bawahan dari Aristoteles itu juga yang sebagai musisi juga menulis buku atau seperti risalah juga mengenai musik. Lalu dari kalimat yang ketiga itu tulisan tersebut merupakan tulisan tertua yang ditulis oleh penemu tersebut atau ya gitu. Lalu kalimat yang keempat ini dijelaskan bahwa scientific knowledge tentang suara itu ditulis atau ditemukan oleh orang Yunani. Boleh next slide. Lalu yang paragraf 5, it appears that the Romans derived their knowledge of music completely from the Greeks, except that Vitruvius, a famous Roman architect, wrote in about 20 BC on the acoustic properties of theaters. His treatise entitled The Architectura Libridecem was lost for many years, to be rediscovered only in the 15th century. There appears to have been no development. Lalu main clause dari paragraf 5 yang dari kalimat pertama, the Romans derived their knowledge. Yang kalimat kedua, his treatise entitled. Lalu yang kalimat yang ketiga, there appears to have been no development. Nah, maksud dari dari paragraf yang kelima ini, dari kalimat yang pertama, menyebutkan bahwa orang Romawi itu memperoleh pengetahuan tentang musik dari orang-orang Yunani. Lalu kalimat yang kedua, ini tentang tulisan yang ditulis oleh arsitek dari Romawi yang berjudul De Architectura Libridecem. Lalu kalimat yang terakhir disebutkan bahwa tidak ada penemuan lebih lanjut mengenai musik selama 16 abad setelah tulisan dari Vitruvius itu. Oke, mungkin bisa dilanjut oleh presenter selanjutnya.
Paragraf 6 yaitu paragraf selanjutnya. China experienced many earthquakes in ancient times. Zhang Heng, who served as a historian and astronomer in the 2nd century, perceived a need to develop an instrument to measure earthquakes precisely. In 132 Masehi, he invented the world's first seismograph. It was made of fine cast bronze, had a diameter of 8 chi. A chi is equal to 0.237 meters, and was shaped like a wine jar, figure 1.4. Inside the jar was a mechanism consisting of pendulums surrounded by a group of 8 levers pointing in 8 directions. 8 dragon figures with a bounce ball in the mouth of each were arranged on the outside of the seismograph. Below each dragon was a toad with mouth open upward. A strong earthquake in any direction would tilt the pendulum in that direction, triggering the lever in the dragon head. This opened the mouth of the dragon, terribly, releasing its bronze ball, which fell in the mouth of the toad with a clanging sound. Thus, the seismograph enabled the monitoring personnel to know by the time and direction of occurrence of the earthquake. Next. Main clause dari paragraf 6 yaitu the first seismograph discovery by Zhang Heng because in ancient China earthquakes often occurred. Yang kedua, the seismograph was made of fine bronze, 8 chi in diameter and shaped like a wine jar. Yang ketiga, the seismograph also consists of a pendulum surrounded by 8 levers pointing in 8 directions. Yang keempat, on the outside there are 8 dragon figures whose mouth are bronze ball. Under each dragon is a frog whose mouth opens upward. Dan yang kelima, when there is an earthquake, the vibration will tilt the pendulum so that it triggers the lever on the dragon's head and causes the dragon's mouth to open, and the bronze ball falls into the frog's mouth and makes a loud sound. Dan yang terakhir, the seismographs allow observers to know the direction and time of the earthquake. Jadi di sini isinya paragraf 6 itu tentang penemuan seismograf pertama kali oleh Zhang Heng karena di Cina banyak terjadi gempa pada abad kuno. Selain itu, paragraf ini juga menjelaskan tentang bagian-bagian seismograf dan juga cara kerjanya. Next. Untuk technical terms-nya ada 3. Yang pertama yaitu mechanism, yaitu artinya a kinematic chain in which one element or link is fixed so that motion can be transmitted or transformed. Yang artinya sebuah rantai kinematik di mana satu elemen gerakannya dapat ditransmisikan atau diubah. Dan kedua ada pendulum, a device consisting of a weight, the pendulum bob at the lower end of a long rod or wire supported at the top in such a way that the weight can swing freely in a vertical plane. For small amplitude oscillation, the periodicity is given approximately by where 1 is the length of the pendulum from the point of support to the center of mass of the pendulum bob, and G is the acceleration due to gravity. Dan yang terakhir ada direction, yang artinya the orientation of a line with respect to some datum. Next.
Baik. Terus summary-nya di paragraf pertama yaitu people became attracted to vibration when they create their first musical instrument, perhaps a whistle or a drum. Since then, both musicians and philosophers have sought the rules and law of sound protection to improve musical instrument and pass them down from generation to generation. The early people observed certain definite rules regarding the art of music, although their knowledge did not reach the level of science.
Kemudian summary pada paragraf 2 adalah the first stringed instrument probably came from the hunter's bow. One of the primitive musical instrument is the nanga, which resembles a harp with 3 or 4 strings, each producing one note.
Selanjutnya, our current musical is based on the ancient Greek civilization. Pythagoras, Greek philosopher and mathematician, is considered the first person to scientifically investigate music. Pythagoras observed that when two similar strings of different lengths were subjected to the same tension, the shorter string emitted a higher pitch. Pythagoras also discovered that if the shorter strings were half long as the longer strings, the shorter strings would pitch 1 octave above the other. This result has been explained by others because Pythagoras left no record of his discoveries. The relationship between pitch and frequency didn't exist until the time of Galileo in the 16th century, although the concept of tone has existed since the time of Pythagoras.
Oke, yang paragraf keempat, around 350 BC, Aristotle wrote a treatise on music and sound. In 320 BC, Aristophanes wrote a 3-volume work entitled Elements of Harmony, which is probably the oldest book dealing with music. Around 300 BC, in the treatise called Introduction to Harmonics, Euclid wrote about music without referring to the physical properties of sound. There was no further progress regarding sound scientific knowledge by the Greeks. It seems that the Romans acquired musical knowledge for the Greeks, except for Vitruvius, a famous Roman architect, who wrote about acoustic properties of the theater in 20 BC. His treatise, entitled De Architectura Libridissim, was lost for many years and was only rediscovered in the 15th century. There seems to be no development in the theory of sound and vibration for nearly 16 centuries after Vitruvius' work.
In ancient times, China often experienced earthquakes, so in 132 Masehi, the world's first seismograph was discovered by Zhang Heng, who was a historian and astronomer in the 2nd century. The seismograph is made of fine bronze, 8 in diameter, and shaped like a wind jar. The seismograph also consists of a pendulum surrounded by 8 levers pointing in 8 directions. When there is an earthquake, the vibration will tilt the pendulum so that the lever moves the mouth of the dragon with the bronze ball so that the bronze ball falls and hits the mouth of the frog that is below it and produces a loud sound. Therefore, observers can determine the time and direction of the earthquake through a seismograph. Sekian presentasi dari kelompok 2. Apabila ada kurangnya kami mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.